Well, here's an intro with the difference. Hey guys, we're getting snowed in. That is PA, and you see I'm about there. The snow's been going for, I don't know now, 3 hours. It's building up pretty quick. I think we've got it all night. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow, but not very convenient, and it's one big ass storm. The guys out east are going to get probably worse than I'm getting here. May get up to 18 inch, I think. Hey guys, it's the old fart back again. Hemmed in the office. You've seen the radar, which is dropping some pretty nasty white stuff, and I think we've got about, I don't know, another 18-20 hours of it. I think goodness knows what it'll be like in the morning. It's evening now, January 22nd. So anyway, to save you the post-it city, I've moved across in the office a bit. Just a quick intro. This will be another bits. Yeah, I think another bits video. It's nothing very important, but I've got 3 fairly minor acquisitions which I'll show you, and follow that with a little bit of CAD again. I showed you the first version of my quill stop idea, which wasn't actually very good in some respects, and 1 or 2 suggestions were useful, gave me food for thought. So I got version 2, which is a sort of improvement, probably closer to what I'll try and do when I can eventually get round to getting in my refrigerator. I mean, the shop is just ridiculously cold. Anyway, things that are in mind, if we can get round to them one day. The quill stop, that may be probably the first thing, I'm not sure. Oh gosh, I can't read my own writing again. Oh, the acute sharpening system. I shall keep apologising for that. One day it may get done. I want to make a couple of V-pad vice grips, and I've got my misting blocks I want to get set up for the mill and the lathe. Oh, and Chuck from Outside Screwball, get it right in a minute. Yeah, Chuck was doing something with his welding table recently and had a very novel and simple clamp idea, just basically a piece of plate with some threaded holes and a fence one side, so he could clamp a very short piece of work in the bandsaw. A very good idea, and relatively simple, so that's another thing to make. Having often had the problem of dealing with a short piece, just to take a smidgen off, you know, it's always a potential problem. And what else have we got? I keep meaning to make an indicator holder for the tool post, something that's been, like so many things, on the back burner. And also the fixture plate, which I made recently, some of you may have seen. I want to make some purpose clamps, probably fairly small, more or less the usual type of pattern, but something smaller. 2 maybe, possibly 4, I'm not sure yet. Anyway, that's it. Here come the few bits I've got and the bit of CAD, and if there's anything worth looking at tomorrow with regard to the local snow conditions, I'll throw that in. Otherwise I should be busy clearing the stuff up. Alright, let's move on. Well, I've been after a sign bar for some time, and because everything I do on the mill is small scale really. I'm limited in vise size and limited in all directions, so I thought, well, a 5" is nice, but I'll make do with a 3". And this one was eBay, of course. Everything's off eBay virtually. It's fairly tidy, a little bit of corrosion on it, but the price was right. I made an offer, I forget now exactly, 24 bucks, something like that. Seems pretty good. The odd marks don't really seem to mar the surface, so pretty well okay for running an indicator on there. And then a couple of small V-blocks. I've got 1 or 2 decent largish ones, but again there's the scale aspect. These have just been, they've got to be cleaned up. I gave them a bit of a pickle because there was a little bit of actual rust. They're pretty beat up. All the surfaces need to be smoothed just to get rid of any odd burrs. I don't know what was done that end as a special. This one though is the main useful. That's 60 degree, by the way. This one's 60 degree. This one's regular 45. Again, it's got the odd little mark here and there. It's probably been fairly heavily abused. So again, all surfaces are going to have to be polished on the surface plate with some fine 1000 grit probably, just to make sure. All they're for, this one in particular, is just something that I can use in the vise for a V. This is a suitable size for that purpose, and it should be useful. Again, not super expensive, made an offer. They're a bit dirtier than I expected, but by the time I've cleaned up and so on, I think they'll be okay. So, I've been after some spacer blocks for quite some time. I've got gauge blocks, but I wanted the benefit of something which could be assembled. I've been after some for quite a long time. Now the full set, I believe, somebody might correct me, I think it's 81, and this is 18, 28, 30, 32, this is about 50, so it hasn't got all the ranges, but fairly tidy, everything's in there. And I've done a check on quite a few, and they're very, very good. I would say 1 or 2 maybe out by a 10th, but otherwise pretty good. So I'm quite pleased with that. If I have to make up for a very awkward combination at some point, I'll probably just add a piece of shim stock. Alright, so quite pleased with that. I think it's about just over 30 bucks. And pretty clean, no corrosion. This, I was going to say, I won't hold the piece of paper in view because it'll mess up the exposure, but this side here is 0.101 to 109. Then we've got 0.190 to 110. Then we go from 0.5 down to 050, and then here we've got the larger sizes, 1 inch, 600, 900, 8th and 16th, I think that, yes, 8th and 16th. Anyway, that combination, or the possible combinations, are such that it should work fairly well. I'd like to have gone for a brand new big set, but you know, ever more the budget minded. Quite pleased. Well, this is the quill stop I was working on. This was design number 1, which was far from ideal in some respects. Bear with me here because I'm still going to have my middle mouse wheel difficult to control. But this was the original we came up with, and as I mentioned at the time, the quill ring collar will be offset to the mounting bracket, but here I initially opted for a length of 1/2 inch rod, threaded all the way, threaded into the base here, and nuts for setting. Not ideal. And the other thing, I think I changed this one to 1/2 inch thick, but I only had a 1/4 inch for the ring. Here we go. That was only a 1/4 inch. So I've made a few changes, small changes. You may hear odd noises. I have a lot of functional noises on this machine. Right, this is the new version, and I think this probably is getting closer to what I want. This is now 3/8. Okay, so the ring is certainly a lot more robust. I think there's a little more projection out here for the pinch bolt system, and then we've got now a smooth rod except for the bottom end. That's going to be turned down to 3/8, and we'll go through a 3/8 hole on here and then a retaining nut. I think that gives me a bit more choice. I don't know why I threaded it into there initially. So that tightens up against the shoulder. So we've got a range of movement, which at the moment is probably more than I shall need, and 1 or 2 of these dimensions, such as the rod length and this distance here from the hole to the ring, a bit of fine tuning may be needed when I make it. But the other thing was to get rid of those stupid nuts. So we've now got a locking block. It's made out of inch by inch, and I've made a knob. So we got a locking knob there. One thing of interest, if I can get it to show, Randy might be interested in this if he sees it. Let me just get that in close. Notice the actual thread form. There's a plug-in available. I think it's on the Autodesk site. It's Cool Orange plug-in, and it converts the sort of representational thread into something more or less authentic, which is really quite cool, really. Makes that chamfer look a bit funny, but I haven't locked that in as yet, which is why I can move it in and out. But that, I think, will make a very quick, a pretty quick, sorry, this isn't, so it's not locked in. That these things are not fully constrained as yet, but you get the general idea. Alright, so that's version 2, which is probably about what I shall use in the end. Still got the 1/4 pinch bolt through here. Alright, that's about it. The thing now is to be able to make the darn thing. That's going to be a while yet. Snow clearing, bad news. Hey, this is just a bit extra I'm tacking on the end, seeing as it's a bit type of video. Having shown the radar yesterday at the beginning, we may still get more today actually, but I think I'm up to, I don't know, earlier on it was up to 21 inch and I think now it's probably nearer 2 foot. I thought I'd just throw in a few stills and video which partly shows the amount, and lots of other people will have had just as bad, but it shows the usefulness, or can't think of the right word, but it shows just how nice it is to have a neighbour who helps. My neighbour next door, Paul, has a Bobcat, and he'd already spent ages clearing his own driveways, and I suddenly found that he was working on ours, which is not super large, but the amount of snow on it, it was a hell of a lot, and my snowblower wouldn't have handled it very well because it's only a small one. So a bit more clearing up to do tomorrow, but I thought I'd throw this in just to give a bit of sort of macabre interest, and I hope other folks who've had the same quantity of snow are also coping. This was about the biggest I remember since President's Day snow, which must have been, how long? Guessing 9 or 10 years maybe, and that was about 2 foot. Anyway, here's my little add-on. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye. Oh, well, just dug my way out. It's about 21 inches. Getting out to my office. And the truck, well, I can't zoom back enough. Look at it. Look at it. That's a lot of snow. It's still falling. It's about 9:30, and there's just enough air movement to start blowing the stuff around. And later on, apparently, it's going to get more windy. So it's a big mess. Big mess. How good is it to have a neighbour with a skid steer? So we've still got to do the truck. It's probably going to be tomorrow. But we made a fair impression. Look at this. Look at it. It's going to be fun tomorrow. We're supposed to get some sunshine. Look at that pile. How many shovels full would that be? Look at that. Mate. Yeah, right. Out the front. Look at that mountain there. That's what a Bobcat can do. My dear lady doing a bit of shoveling. And another pile with a mangled piece of gutter that was on the ground. Look at it on the roof. Interesting pattern.